I'm like, listen, I don't want you to get hurt or die. So, like,
or die.
45. I gotta be back by 1.
All right, and I actually, just to make sure that we stay on task, I got some stuff together, which I normally don't do. I normally don't have too tight of a format.
Yeah.
You know, because again, like I said, I mean, coming from the West Coast, that kind of stuff is pretty common. I mean, I feel like more people on the West Coast are aware of their physical and mental well-being and stuff. Over here, I feel like people just, maybe it's the weather, maybe they're just bitter.
Yeah.
You know, but I like to see more of these kind of things, alternative solutions to normal therapy, medication. I like to see these things happening around here, and I was completely blown away whenever I seen that that's what Dream Float was.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start by introducing you. This is Mary Bowers.
Yes.
And she is what I would call, I guess, the face of Dream Float.
Sure.
Which is here. And I'm going to get into that also. I would like to kind of maybe break down your role there. We just met not that long ago. This is something that we threw together pretty quick. Me just realizing what the Dream Float was down there and just kind of the slew of stuff that you guys offer down there. I was more than eager and excited not only to learn more myself, but to also kind of inform other people. And rather than getting the information secondhand, we have this platform, and I think it just makes sense to have you kind of talk about it a little bit yourself.
Sure.
So, if you'd like to introduce, like I said, yourself and your role there at the Dream Float, you're on.
I am Mary Bowers, and I guess I'm the manager of Dream Float. It took me like 6 months to realize that I was the manager, which makes me sound like an idiot, but I swear I'm not. Like,
it's one of those things that, like, you just kind of adapt to the role.
Yeah.
And you don't realize.
It wasn't really advertised. Dr. Fernand, she owns the place, and she's like, I just need somebody. Her person that was running the place, she was leaving, and she also wanted to start IVs over there, the IV hydration, like vitamins and stuff like that. She needed someone that does IVs as well, which through my radiation therapy and other degrees, I do IVs.
Oh, okay. So you actually are the one that's able to administer it.
Yeah.
So this is another thing too. Again, see, I kind of didn't even realize that. Again, you have credentials that you're actually administering some of this stuff. So that's really, really impressive. Because again, I didn't know. You walk into a place, you don't know if you're getting the secretary or the, you know what I mean. So like, you actually have firsthand knowledge of this stuff and have a medical background to back it up. So that's really, really enlightening. Yeah,
and the other one that works, Amber, she's our Tuesday girl. She is a nurse as well, so she can. Like, we can all do IVs. April is there on weekends. We taught her how to do IVs as well. So we can all do the IVs. We can all do the hyperbaric. We can all obviously do the floats and saunas. Those are pretty simple.
And that's something I think is important too, that again, walking in there, you don't know, is it just kind of willy-nilly, but there is a lot of science behind it. Obviously, there's medical professionals involved directly through the whole step. So I would say, like, what kind of inspired you? Did you find this place? I mean, with your medical background, did you just find this place, or did she find you?
A lot of my family has worked for her.
Okay.
Because my sister is a nurse that works down at her office in Ridgeway, her family practice office in Ridgeway.
Okay.
And my mom also was a nurse, and then she does house cleaning and stuff like that. So it was kind of like...
It kind of meant to be a little bit.
Yeah, and she was talking about wanting someone and all that, and my sister just like said, "Hey, my sister can do that."
It seems like it's a perfect fit. It really does. Yeah. It seems like it's something, because something that I tout about every day is that, I mean, you might like what you do, but when you're passionate about what you do, it completely changes the dynamic of something. You know, I mean, when you go in there, I mean, you're clearly excited and enthusiastic about helping people and about offering people something that, again, a lot of people aren't aware of could really help people. Again, like we learned, so much just in the 10 minutes that we were in there, and I like to think that I know a lot about alternative, medicines and therapies, but this is even something that I know very, very little about. So on like a day-to-day, what kind of typical person is your client? Like, I mean, do you have people like from blue collar? It's kind
of everything. Let's see. So right now we have one lady that comes in, she saunas every week. For months, she's been coming regularly. And she works... Is she the one that worked at the corrections office? I don't know. We have all sorts of people. She just, really appreciates the way the sauna makes her feel. There's people that come in just as needed, like if they need, IV after they've been really sick and
Right.
really beat down. One woman was going to bring her 80-year-old father for regular IVs. That never happened, which I'm kind of concerned about why that might not have happened.
And that's the scary thing about it a little bit is you kind of get to know a little bit about these people and their medical well-being, their health and stuff. And then if you don't hear from them a little bit, it's a little bit unsettling.
Yeah.
So again, okay, so you, I guess we could just do a quick rundown. So like they have the float tanks there. You've got the saunas, IV hydration, a hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Is that what that would be considered?
Yep.
That's an infrared sauna, which is good for individuals and groups. So again, this is something that maybe with the sauna would be like kind of case by case, again, anybody who's, I mean, if I look at someone like me, like I have a personal sauna now for the fact that like I'm hunched over most of my day. I'm working, in situations where like my hands are cramped, my back feels sore. The sauna has been something that's incredible for me, even post workout. But again, like you look at this and it's easy to say, wow, that's for the health nuts or that's for the, the I don't know, the high tech, whatever you want to call it. The pseudoscience medicine people, the weirdos, but it's like one of those things, like, I don't care who you are. I guarantee that you can find something that can benefit you, and the sauna, especially, like I said, for muscle stiffness and soreness and stuff, like, I don't care especially if you work hard labor, like I would encourage anybody to spend some time in the sauna.
Yeah. And that's the sauna and the float. Those are really good individually. And they're also really good to keep up with like a regular routine, and like, it'll help, like kind of as needed.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of people that come regularly and they notice when they have missed, a couple of sessions because they just feel kind of crummy. But then again, there's people like that had surgery a couple years ago and their back is really stiff. They're just locked up and they come and float and they can walk again. Not perfectly, but like they can walk for a little while.
Right, but feeling noticeable relief.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, again, case by case, and that's why I like that whenever you walk through the door, I mean, you're giving everybody essentially an individual assessment, and maybe sometimes it's more beneficial to come in and maybe tell you what your goal is, and you can say, well, maybe you need sauna once a week, maybe you need to float once a month, and maybe like you can build a regimen for people like that, because again, some of those things are really good in pairing. As I've learned, like I said, I like to work out and stay fit, but also the sauna then helps me with just kind of detoxing, just kind of like cleansing your body. Because I'll tell you what, when I get out of the sauna, like I feel like my skin's brand new. I feel like my body's been regenerated. And that's, whether it's after a long day of tattooing or even a day that I don't have much going on, it's kind of just great to like kind of just, kind of like relax and just be able to kind of, recover, I guess, would be the way. And I ride BMX and do all kinds of physical stuff. So it's like I'm just now learning about how just the sauna, just 15 minutes. I mean, I'm extremist. So like I try to do like 30 minutes. I've tried to do 45 minutes in there, and like, I'm telling you, even just 10 minutes out of your day can really make a big difference, and in once a week even.
Yeah, we tell people minimum 20 minutes in the infrared. 30 minutes is kind of standard. There are some people who like the full 60, but that's kind of up to
and it's probably more efficient. See, I'm speaking about a steam sauna.
Oh,
my personal one's steam.
Yeah, I don't know much about steam.
What you're not getting is as much of an efficient heat. Obviously, see, with steam and anything like that, you're heating the space. Infrared's heating the body.
Yeah.
So you're getting a more direct heat. So, like, I would imagine with the infrared sauna, it's probably even more beneficial and more effective. So yeah, I could only imagine. I'm planning on coming down. I was hoping that I could swing it. I was going to do this podcast and I was going to come down and see it today and kind of run through.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make sure I come down because the sauna and everything is just absolutely beautiful down there. Because that's another part of it too. Is like just walking in there, the atmosphere and everything. You just you almost immediately feel at peace.
And it looks much better on the inside than it does on the outside.
We're gonna change that. I don't care if I got to sanction some artists, talk to the landlord, whatever.
Really appreciate that because it is something else on the outside.
Well, and I think that even personally maybe been a little bit of a deterrent. To where like you forgive me, you go past there. Some days you don't know if it's an open business. You don't know if it's, it looks a
it
little
can be a
bit,
little sketchy.
It looks a little bit deceiving, and again, to know that what's beyond that glass is something that could absolutely transform your entire existence. It's like we need to be able to reflect that on the outside for sure.
I kind of want a big flag that says we're not as creepy on the inside.
That's like my sign that I need for the bathroom door. It's like, listen, we're weird. Get over it. It's through the bathroom.
It's a good weird.
Right, and it's almost like it kind of just shakes off that little bit of last bit of nervousness. It's like, okay, it's not going to be weirder than walking into dude's bathroom with him. So it's like we're fine. So let's run through just like a little bit of the float tank thing, because I think that's probably the most confusing to most people. It seems the most far-fetched or the most sci-fi or easy to hard to understand.
Yeah, thanks to Stranger Things. That's
Did they use one in there?
Well, they have like a full sensory deprivation thing.
Oh, really?
Where they it's not like this. It's like they put her in a vertical tank and she's like under the water and fully sensory deprived, and then she like goes into this
showing you the most extreme.
And and that is not what we do. My cousin, like, she is terrified because of that. She will not do this. I've been there for like a year and a half.
Stranger Things.
I'm trying to convince her that she's not going to see demons. It's going to be okay.
Well, I might not have, help people either get into it, because like, I talk about alternative medicines, and I mean, you can feel what you want about like medical marijuana and things like that, but like psilocybin research has done profound things now with neurology and things like that.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like all the research that I've done has been in that direction. And it's like, boy, I start looking at the benefits of the float tank and stuff. And it's like that actually is accomplishing almost the same exact thing as what would be considered like a heroic dose of psilocybin mushrooms. Because like Johns Hopkins Medical College, I think it's probably been a decade or so now, had started doing trials with psilocybin. And I've probably spoke about it a handful of times, but like, so again, it's a therapeutic dose. You're in a pitch black room. You have no sight, no sound, no smell. You're essentially depriving yourself of the senses, because that chemical reaction is more of an internal experience. Anything outside, anything physical and tangible is actually going to counteract that experience. So again, with the float tank, with absolutely nothing at all, you can step into that space and be able to kind of release all of this weight from the physical world, is how I would explain it. I mean, I've only been in, a handful of them, and I'm not claustrophobic, so I don't tend to have anxiety about getting into one. But once you see one, you realize there's a lot more room than what you expect. It's not what maybe you would have thought before.
And you can have the lights on. There's like the chakra lights, I think they're called. They go through all the different colors. You can have lights on, and we do have like spa music. There's different things that you can choose from.
Okay.
So you don't have to be completely sensory deprived. You can control that while you're in there. You can turn
baby
the button on or
steps.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes people will do like half and half. They'll have sound and light on for a little while, then they'll turn it off.
Kind of ease into it. Yeah, that would make sense. See, I've never known that, actually, because again, I'm an extremist. Like, well, what do the normal people do? Well, give me double that, and
Yeah.
They said I was doing 2 hours in a float tank easily.
Nice. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because, again, like I feel like I carry so much weight during the day, during my consciousness, that like sitting in an abyss in a black state where I don't have to feel anything or think of it. I mean, like there's nothing like that to be able to escape for a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, coming back, it's like you have profound appreciation for things in a different way. At least, again, every case is different. But I feel like I take in people better. I feel like I see things better. I have a better perspective on things. Like my mind just seems to be more clear and function better.
Yeah, it kind of rinses your brain out.
Yeah, I mean, like I pack myself full of caffeine and nicotine and all this stupid stuff all day to just allow myself to be in the rat race and to stay busy. And, it's like, really the best thing you can do is to eliminate everything and go baseline, you know?
Yeah, and the water is heated to skin temperature. So that makes it like if you're still in there, you're not feeling anything around you. That's another part of the sensory thing.
Right.
And yeah, there's so much.
I think that's a weird concept for people because, again, like I explained, like you really don't even feel your body, because, again, you kind of mend with that. So go through the process a little bit. Like, so just so that way the people know, so you walk in and I've never floated before. how would you ease me into it, and how would I get started? Like,
A lot of times I tell people to start out with a 30-minute float just because they don't know what to expect. Unless you know that you're a person that can like sit in a bathtub for an hour and fall asleep or something. If you're one of those people, just go for the 60. But otherwise, start with a 30 just to get a feel for it. Come back again for a 60. It kind of, you get better at it the more you do it. Um, so then I just set them up with, whatever sound they wanted and kind of show them how it all works. Tell them the process. They need to take a shower before you get in because you don't want any, oils or product on you to get into the water. Then you just hop in, set things how you want it. Again, with the lights, the sound, close the lid if you want. It's like a big pod. So you don't have to have it completely closed. We even have little pool noodles that you can shove in to keep it cracked open if you want. Like there are people that are really claustrophobic and they want that thing cranked open.
And the point is to lessen anxiety, not increase it. So it's great that you have these little safeguards for people because, again, for someone walking in there and have never done it before, it's like, well, you want to make sure that they're getting a good experience because you give them a bad experience, then they're not only going to never do it again, but then they're going to tell 10 people how bad it was. Yeah. And then it's begin counteractive, so...
Yeah.
I love that, especially because, like, trying to think, like, with stuff like that, like, well, how do you know, like, when your session's over, like, the lights come back on? Do you come get them?
The music will kind of fade out. If you have the sound on, that'll fade out. And even if you don't have music on, it's going to tell you your session is over.
And you're monitoring them essentially. I mean, they're not by themselves. They're not unattended. I mean, like, so do you check on people? Do you have to?
We kind of like listen to hear if they got out in the shower again. Yeah, because you do need to get out and shower. So if the thing says it's done on our computer end and we don't hear the shower within a few minutes, we're like, I don't know. Because we do recommend people go in nude. So we're not going to like... Yeah,
I think it would be weird to wear a bathing suit because, again, then you would feel that, kind of be counteractive. You'd be fidgeting with it.
There are people that do wear bathing suits just because they're kind of weirded out by the whole nudeness of it. But...
Well, let's go into, like, what's in the water? It's not...
It's Epsom salt.
Is it Epsom salt?
It's magnesium sulfate. And it is... incredibly dense. It's like the Dead Sea kind of. Maybe not exactly that dense. I'm not entirely sure what that comparison density-wise would be.
I was just reading about the density. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But thickens essentially the water. Yeah.
We have about 200 to 250 gallons of water and 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt. So you're in a pod that has about, 10 to 12 inches of water. And there's 1,000 pounds of salt in that. So you have to try to not float. Like, when you're in a pool and you, like, tense up to try to float and keep your head up and everything, you have to, like, physically and mentally remind yourself to let go. And once you do, it's going to hold you, and you don't have to worry about it. And that's how people fall asleep.
Right.
And they're perfectly safe falling asleep in there because I think it's kind of hard to roll over. Because even trying to sit up, your legs will bob in front of you.
I mean, I think instinctually, like, you wouldn't allow yourself to roll over, I think, for the most part. But that's interesting. I was actually going to ask you if anybody falls asleep in them, and if that's okay.
All the time.
Because I mean, like, I could say that, like, I can almost meditate to the point where, like, again, I'm barely conscious, but I don't know if I'm sleeping either, so I don't know. But my friend Eric that I just had on, he has actually told me that he's been working through, like, real meditation and breathing exercises, and he's actually almost able to achieve a state of that, to where he's essentially, depriving himself of sight and sound, and I'm like, listen, man, like, if you can do that with your own mind, like, if you experienced the float tank, you would be, again, because it's not always attainable to do that in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to schedule it, sometimes you got to put it aside, and again, having the float tank, that's like, that's your little bubble. You can literally go in there and achieve that state, essentially anytime you want.
Yeah.
So again, like, probably case by case, not everybody needs to go and float, once a week, couple times a week. Like, do you have, more people probably doing them, like, maybe once a month or so? Like, how often?
Once a month is a good way to go, or even kind of as needed. So you don't need to be good at meditation or anything like that, or to go float. You don't need to have that sort of a goal, I guess, either. You can go in, and I'm really bad at floating. I go in for a half an hour. I can't do an hour because about 20 minutes in, I am literally bouncing. Like I'm floating around
Really?
and I'm bobbing and I'm pushing around, like playing with the water because you push your arms down and just whoop, and it just I'm
It's almost
bad
like
at the
weightlessness.
I'm bad at the really chill, like meditative floating, but it because it's Epsom salt. I mean, people do Epsom salt baths or like foot
Well,
soak,
that's why I
whatever,
was so
and it's
curious if
good for
that's
your
what it
muscles.
was. Right.
So a lot of the times that I float, I go in because I'm really sore or like I kind of pulled something
Interesting.
and I need to just chill that out. And all the
Right.
magnesium in there, the magnesium is really good for muscle and nerve function. Your muscles and your nerves need magnesium to fire and function.
Oh,
Um, and if you don't, like, magnesium is an electrolyte and you can absorb that through your skin. So you're in there and all that mag and it gets absorbed. And that's what
interesting.
kind of helps your muscles and nerves relax and chill and
Well, there you go.
themselves.
So again,
Yeah.
so again, that even doesn't have to even be a sensory deprivation
No.
experience. You obviously go in, light, sound, music, and actually just enjoy an Epsom salt
Yeah.
bath and receive the benefits from that.
Yeah, and it's like it's more Epsom salt bath than you could ever get in your home because it's
Well,
just
who's
so
got
concentrated.
1,000 pounds to put in his
Right.
bathtub?
Oh
It
my
wouldn't even
God.
fit, you know.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, my dad has 5 herniated discs in his back, and he's had that since he was 18. He fell through the floor of a sawmill whenever he
Oh
was
my
young,
God.
and he was working. Who for the lady was also his landlord, and she was like, you'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like, you think she gave a shit about his insurance or nothing like
Right.
that? So I mean, he's been crooked his whole life.
Oh, that's awful.
And of course, you know, through decades of just, you know, being medicated, I mean, they had him on like morphine and all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's like, you don't know if something like this. I mean, I'm sure he'd done Epsom salt. That's probably where I became familiar with it and stuff,
Mhm.
Epsom salt baths. But it's like this stuff, you know, could really actually change somebody, you know, that might have had to get surgery or, you know.
Yeah, that's where doing it on a regular basis, like for a lot of the chronic stuff, doing it on a regular basis is a good way to go. Yeah, and it also helps people sleep because magnesium helps you sleep better.
See, and that's
Yeah.
where like getting into a
Chills you
routine,
out,
like
yeah.
I was saying, like, you know, like at the end of my week, before my weekend, because the weekend is when I'm the busiest. So it's
Mhm.
like realistically, like Friday would be my day. I would cure myself from all of the hell all week and then set up for the busiest time
There you
during
go.
the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where like, you know, you try to make people realize, listen, like, I mean, we're talking about your health and your mental health and your physical health. Having no time for it is no excuse. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to
Mhm.
continue to be here and do the things that you say that you're doing, it's like you got to take care of yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I think we covered like how often people use it. Do you have any client success stories? Anything that pops out? Just someone that, you know, maybe came in unsure about the float tank and, you know, has become a regular or something?
That does happen sometimes, or they come in with a gift certificate and then eventually end up coming and
Yeah,
paying for it because they really like it and they notice there's a difference. One guy said that he comes in and he will sleep fantastically for the next 3 nights.
wow.
Yeah, it just yeah.
And that's the other thing too is like, you know, are you gonna feel these benefits days after? You know, which I
Mhm.
think is important. You know, because
Yeah, there is the post float glow. You can see when people come out and they're just really zenned out. Like even if that wasn't their goal, like if they were sore and that's why they're going in, or like, oh, someone got me this for Christmas, so we'll try it. And then they come out and they're just like,
Like the calm before the storm.
well, and
yeah, it just like melts them down and it like resets everything because like you're cutting all that sensory input out, letting your brain just
well, especially that, you know, like I
recenter
said,
itself.
we're just always so stuck in like bop, 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 bop,
Yeah.
bop, notifications and everything, and you know, I gotta post a reel today, and I gotta post and it's like just
Yeah.
all day long we're just getting bombarded with everything, you know, and
Mhm.
like that's where like even just putting the phone aside and sitting in a room and, you know, taking a half an hour, you know,
Yeah.
could change your day. But like I love the fact that like, again, like the full disconnect, you walk in there, you know, and like I said, just from start to finish, you walk through there and like you can almost come out of there like a different person,
Yeah, it
you
helps
know,
with
with
anxiety and depression and increases people's creativity a lot of times because they're cutting everything out. So you can allow your brain to do more fun things instead of more crappy things.
well, when you shed the weight that you're carrying, because again, most people are so damn busy, you don't even realize how stressed you are, or how,
Mhm.
you know, how worked up you are, or really how much baggage you're carrying through the day, or even how that little bit is maybe, you know, reflecting onto, you know, other people, you know, because
Yeah.
I'll find myself, like I said, getting a little bit irritable, and I'm like, nah, get away from me. I don't like projecting any of that onto other people. So it's like,
Yeah.
just taking a little bit of time out of your day to focus on yourself really makes you a better person, makes you more fun to be around. You're obviously going to be, I feel like more energetic, more creative. Let's talk about IV hydration.
Okay.
So, obviously, kind of figure out what it is. Obviously, you're using an IV injection to hydrate people. It's obviously becoming more popular again outside of small towns, but I'm excited to see something like that happen here. Is that something that people are taking up around here? Is it something people are?
Yeah, especially like athletes in the summer. That's our main IV people is athletes, marathon runners.
Really?
Yeah, kids. I don't think I've had a teenager yet, but there have been some that came in after their really hard, couple weeks of
School sports or anything like that. Maybe
yeah.
Is that something that is typically not recommended for under 18, or is this something that
you can? It's
also with the float tank too? Is that something that they age restrict, or is that
no? We say if they're under 12, maybe have a parent in the room.
Oh, geez, I wouldn't even think that young would be able
want
to.
Like a super young kid.
Yeah.
In there. But if the parent is like adamant, we haven't had anyone like this. But if the parent is adamant, we can say that you can be in the room. We'd probably keep it open so they can keep an eye on their kid.
Again, obviously not something you've encountered yet either, but we talk about mental health and who's struggling with mental health probably more than today's youth.
Right.
You figure like even 15 to 18.
Yeah, they're perfectly good going.
You find somebody that could benefit from just again disconnecting from social media and all the bullshit. I mean, that would probably be the age group that might benefit from the most.
Yeah.
It's something like I said. I mean, like at any age, I'm sure, like you said, you have people that are well over age of 50 or so, that come in and do this stuff, whether it's hydration or the float tank or the sauna, So I mean, it's something that you get into a routine now, even early on, young, under 18. Yeah, you can really set yourself up, to having a really good regimen and a routine for taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
So what are some common reasons people would come in for IV hydration? This says hangover was another thing that come up, and I laughed at that when I read it, but I was like, that is what a hangover is dehydration.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. So there are IV bars that do like all these huge protocols and different cocktails and stuff like that. We keep it simple.
Well, that's their main thing.
Yeah. We have 3 different things that we offer, and you can mix and match whatever you want. It's a liter of saline, basically, like you see in hospitals hooking up.
Right.
So
that's
if
the
you're
clear
fluids,
shit, right?
Yeah. You're getting fluids, that's just your saline. We have that, and we can put the basic vitamins into it. So these are 2 different vials of all the vitamins your body needs. 12 or 13. I always forget the number. But every single vitamin that your body needs.
Wow.
In those vials. You suck them up, you shoot them into the bag, and it turns yellow. If you do that in our magnesium bag, because it's an electrolyte bag, so it's got magnesium and sodium and everything, because that's the saline. If you put those vitamins into a magnesium bag, that's what's called a banana bag. So if you hear like a hospital or whatever, need a banana bag, that is what that is. Or a rally pack, some people call it, because that's what people want after a hangover. You want your electrolytes and your fluid and your vitamins, because your liver gets wiped out, and all of your vitamins, a lot of your vitamins are stored in your liver.
Right.
So when you're drinking, you're knocking them out a little bit. So that's why the magnesium bag, the electrolyte bag, and the primary vitamins, those are a really good combo for anybody that's been drinking. Or was that
migraine?
Yes, magnesium is great for that's good with the floats too, because that's all magnesium. So you can either
The Epsom salt would work with the migraines.
Holy shit. Yeah, it is really good for migraines. I forgot about that one.
Wow. I mean, that's something that, most of us deal with on a daily basis. Again, like, I don't even like to take an ibuprofen. I don't take a Tylenol. Like, I will suffer before I take
I'm ibuprofen all day, every day.
I just don't. I never liked the medication. Like, I've just always been fearful of medication because I look at that side effect list. Like, nah, I'd rather float in some salt. To be honest. So hangovers, fatigue, there's all kinds of things that I guess would benefit from being able to boost some of it.
Athletes, people working outside in the summer, like they've been out mowing their lawn and doing lawn work and everything like that for days, and it's insanely hot and you're sweating your ass off. Like, go get that before you put yourself in the hospital for major horrible dehydration.
Now, is that something, that should be done periodically? Like,
That's
again,
kind
because
of
it's
a
not a
like
cure-all. You can't just rely on that, right? You obviously have
right.
to.
That's like if oh, and we also have a vitamin C thing too, and that's like a lot of people associate that with like immune system and stuff, but it's not as fantastic for immune system as other things. Like vitamin D is really good for your immune system. But anyways, we have vitamin C for people that have iron absorption issues because vitamin C helps you absorb your iron.
Oh.
And what
I
was the
know
other
some people
thing?
that have like iron deficiencies and stuff like that, so that
Yeah,
would
they
help
might not be
them.
absorbing the iron that they take in, so vitamin C can help you with that.
Wow.
So if you have specific reasons why you might need that, that'd be a good thing that you can put in too. And you can get just vitamin C infusion, you can get just the magnesium electrolyte infusions, or you can get just the primary vitamins, or you can get 1, 2, or 3.
Now,
And that,
oh, go ahead.
And that's kind of an as needed or regular basis. You can't get the vitamins. You can only get them once every 4 weeks because there's vitamin A in it, and that is fat soluble, so that hangs out in your body. It doesn't flush out as well. But the effects can last, 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, depending on.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you have kind of a limited diet, if you have gut issues that you're not absorbing anything that you take in, and you're not getting all those vitamins, that's when you want to do it regularly. Normally, people that have a varied diet and decent gut, whatever, they're mostly getting it after illness or major workouts,
like as a recovery tool.
That. Yeah.
Nice. So I guess what I was going to say is so walking it off the streets, is there an assessment before you do that? Like, because I mean, me walking off the street, I wouldn't know. I need magnesium B. I need all this stuff. Like, so is there a sit down and how do you determine what I would need? I mean, I could give you my rundown of my diet and things like that, but how do we determine what I need?
I talk to you and tell me your issues and kind of go from that.
So I guess just kind of how I'm feeling, if I'm fatigued or I'm tired or
yeah, and what's been going on lately, kind of what you're looking to have happen. If you tell me that you've been puking your guts out for days on end, then I'm gonna say you probably need the magnesium and the vitamins.
Right, replenish
C
your body
with, but because there is C in the basic vitamins as well.
Right.
It's got everything. But yeah, just to replenish what your body has lost and kind of get you up and moving a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I said, I mean, you look at that, and it's easy to say, well, that's for the extreme health nuts, again, because in California it was kind of painted out the way, oh, yeah, everybody's super healthy, and
yeah,
they don't just take vitamins, they get IV vitamins, everybody's, so fucking fancy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's I don't care who you are, you know what I mean? Like
sometimes you just really need it.
I wish I would have known about a lot of this stuff when my grandmother was still alive and things, because there's just so much now that, again, you go to a doctor and they're like, another medication, she's got her whole slew buffet of pills that she takes. It's boy, for nerve damage and for back pain and things like that, it's boy, ton of other stuff that maybe could have, extended your, quality of life, because again, you look at all the side effects from one pill, now you're taking 7.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me that those aren't, working against each other, or, it's so, just so many things. Like I said, even just quitting smoking, I've found, like I said, people that have quit smoking, using psilocybin therapy. I would imagine that you could probably do the same thing with the float tank, as far as just if you could create a regimen or a routine to where wherever I'm feeling anxious, maybe I take 10 minutes or 15 minutes and float, or because I think the mental reset is the biggest part of that,
Absolutely.
because you've at some point created a dependency or created a pathway to, that's my solution to my stress or my anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I need to replace that with something better or more beneficial, and especially if it's something that can give you kind of a hard reset.
Yeah.
And you come out of there I know, after I work out, after I sauna, after I do all this, the last thing I want to do is smoke a cigarette. Well, it's well, that feels really stupid. Yeah. I just thought all this stuff to take care of myself, and now I'm going to go smoke a cigarette. It's well, that just seems dumb.
Yeah.
So just that little bit of clarity, if you had that as an accessible option, you could probably quit yourself, doing float tank too, or any kind of this alternative therapy. One thing I know nothing about is the hyperbaric oxygen. So I guess just what it is and how it works. It's pressure, right?
Yeah, it is pressurized air Like you're in this tank, and it kind of looks like a propane tank, which is terrible.
Looks like a space tube.
Yeah, it's this
it's
tank
kind of
you lay
scary.
in. There is a plexiglass kind of door, so you can see out.
Yeah, and I'm gonna drop some pictures and stuff and into
good,
this before we put it out, just so people have a visual reference to what we're talking about.
Yeah, my sister says it looks like it reminds her of the Snow White coffin, which oh, there's a cat.
There's always a cat in here.
Okay, yeah.
The Snow White coffin. I guess you're right. I forgot that you could see into the coffin. It's glass.
It's not a completely clear one like Snow White's, but I mean they do make those, not for the hyperbaric things, but they do make completely clear coffins.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm excited to die.
I don't really want to ever get embalmed, but if I did, it would be for one of those clear ones and lay me out in the woods for a week.
What does that cost?
But
I bet you that's an expensive coffin.
Probably. But anyways, yes, back to the thing to help you not die.
Extend your need for a clear coffin.
Yeah. So it is this tank tube thing you lay in. And you got to get comfy, even though it's not like the most comfortable thing ever because we can't have.
There's no pad or anything in there, right? It's just a hard tube.
Kind of, yeah.
Because
it's a padded plank.
Yeah.
And there's a pillow, and we can give you towels because they're 100% cotton. But we can't have synthetics and stuff in there. We don't want anything that's going to spark. When you go in, we'll get to that.
That confuses me.
We'll get to that in a minute. So you lay in there, and you're going to be in there for over 70 minutes. Our run time is 70 minutes, and then you take 5 to 10 minutes to decompress. So go in. We pressurize the air in there. So it's to an atmospheric pressure of at least 1.5 ATA. So that'd be like if you are 15 feet under seawater. That's the pressure you're getting.
Okay.
You don't feel anything pushing on you, but it's going to start compressing the air molecules.
Do your ears pop or anything like that? Do they?
So, and that's why we only started at 1.5. We go to 2, which is like 33 feet under seawater.
Wow.
So we build up to that. And sometimes we have to pause the pressurizing so that people can clear their ears. Because we don't want those to pop. It's kind of like being in an airplane too, but more pressure.
So not hard to breathe. You don't feel crushed, nothing like that.
Yeah, it's like kind of when they say they're pressurizing an airplane cabin, that's what they're doing is what we do. But we have oxygen masks that you wear. And we pump in oxygen, so you're breathing more oxygen in.
Okay.
So that's where the hyperbaric is. You're pressurizing oxygen. We want to feed more of that into.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even think about that. You'd have to obviously be taking in oxygen because it's a concealed tube.
Yeah. When they do things, I think you can treat some things with just the pressurizing, like the bends kind of thing. People, that came up too quickly when they were diving.
Oh,
and they get all that trapped. Like nitrogen and things like that. I don't know if they need oxygen specifically for that or like elevation sickness. They might. Anyways, we always do oxygen because that's the point.
You're in there for an hour. What did you say, hour and 10 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, and the whole point is to get oxygen into places that it wouldn't normally get to. Oh. So if you brought a balloon underwater, it would start to shrink, right? Because when things get pressurized, they shrink. The gases shrink. So all the gases in your body are going to start to compress. If you have more oxygen in there, you can fill more oxygen into your blood. So your hemoglobin, or your red blood cells, can only hold 4 oxygen molecules.
Doesn't sound like a lot.
Plasma is unlimited. You can. I'm sure there's probably a limit, but yeah, it can hold a lot.
That's why they're harvesting people's plasma now. It's fucking scary. So that's interesting. So obviously, this is pushing all the way through your body. So there's oxygen and gas inside your body, which say right now, if I'm lactose intolerant, if I eat dairy, I feel very gassy. Mm-hmm. Is that going to push all of that out of me? Is that
might compress
the same concept? So it's not getting rid of it. It's not
no, it's compressing the thing so they can move through. I don't know what that would do if you were gassy. We don't want people drinking carbonated beverages before they get in.
You'd explode.
Because more on the depressurizing, because after things kind of level out while you're at that pressurized state, then you depressurize and things kind of expand a little bit, and you'd probably feel uncomfortable with a gassy beverage.
Right. Well, and obviously you can't get out to go to the bathroom either, too.
Right.
So you shouldn't have anything like should you have anything in your stomach even? Like,
It's okay to eat or drink
okay.
beforehand. You don't want to be like super full because that probably just wouldn't.
Yeah, I've probably been comfortable. But see, again,
Yeah.
I'm like picturing pressure. But you
Oh
don't
yeah,
feel
you're
any
not going to
pressure
feel it.
at
You
all.
don't feel any pressure on you at all. You're just kind of like laying there.
I'm
The
like,
only-
oh, I know what it
Yeah.
feels like to be squeezed. Like,
No, you don't feel any pressure physically. You get the ear issues, but yeah. So the oxygen molecules, while they're being compressed, they can fit through different tissues a little better. It creates this tension and it goes through, and that's how it can get into your plasma, and it can saturate the plasma, and it goes through, and your blood vessels kind of go down into capillaries, right? So you have your arteries and then arterioles, and they get smaller and smaller, and then it gets into these capillaries. And capillaries between the artery side and the venous side have a really thin wall. And to get down into some of those deeper capillaries, the shrunk oxygen molecules are able to saturate further down into the deeper tissue.
oh, okay. Where normally, obviously, it would be inaccessible, and is that where you're getting discomfort? Maybe is that like?
Not really. You don't really get the discomfort. That's just
Well, I mean,
helping
is this
to
what
heal
this
the
is helping
tissues.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So there's 9 things. I got to pull out my list because I always try to go through the 9 things that I learned in the class, and I always forget because I start talking about one because I get really excited and I forget the other ones. So
that's why today I have a list because I'm not smart enough to have this conversation.
So yeah, it's shrinking down that oxygen, shoving it through into places that it normally wouldn't go. It's reoxygenating the tissue that can't normally get a lot. With that hyperoxygenation, that can have antibacterial, antibiotic properties. So there are things, bacteria, viruses, fungus, things like that do not like hyperoxygenated environments. They can't live in it.
Okay.
So when you flood these sort of tissues that might have that in there, it can just naturally kill them.
Wow.
Those bad buggies that you don't want. It can also work together with some antibiotics. So you can be on one antibiotic and have hyperbaric oxygen therapy at the same time, and it like amps up that antibacterial action. One of the coolest things, I love this. It can regrow blood vessels.
See
like
that
angiogenesis, like it'll just start growing new ones because it's got so much stuff that it needs to get to everywhere. And it's like, we don't got enough room. So especially with people that have like a wound and it's not getting a lot of circulation, it will, the circulation's cut off. There's vasculature that's just dead or blocked or things like that. It'll regrow more faster than your body normally would. Like your body can kind of take a little while, but it'll regrow them faster to get around and get in there to help heal tissues that need more oxygen. It was just the coolest. Your body also will create antioxidant enzymes. So with HBOT, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, there's a surge of antibiotic enzymes. So it'll kick up your body's natural antioxidants. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
Antioxidant enzymes. It'll kick up your body's natural antioxidant. There's one specific that I can never remember its name, but it'll bust it out there. It will, let's see, we did that one and that one and that one and that one. Osteoblast and osteoclast production. So these are the things that go in and break down like junky bone tissue and connective tissue, and then the things that come in and rebuild it faster. And same thing with fibroblasts and collagen. So these are things that are connective tissues.
Right.
This is where a lot of athletes really like the HBOT because they get injured, something's broken, something's torn, and it's taking forever. Well, they do this regularly, and it kicks up your body's natural
that's
ability
incredible.
to pump these out and get rid of the junk, eat it all up.
Man, whoever figured this out, I mean, like, because the human body is incredible. Like I always say it all the time about like our ability to heal and our ability to just overcome illnesses and injuries and all this stuff. But like to know that just with pressurization, that you can amp up your body's ability to regenerate things like that. Like, I mean,
Yeah, and
phenomenal.
collagen makes your skin really nice, and there's all sorts of other things.
It's the most interesting one to me.
Yeah, and then it'll decrease inflammation. So there's different things in your body that are naturally, like it'll pump out these natural, it'll pump out anti-inflammatories. And
Wow.
I think there's one specific one of these as well that gets really amped up under this hyperoxygenated state. So it'll just kick off all these processes that then can apply to so many different issues and help all sorts of different things.
Well, it seems like across the board, like I said, I don't know. I mean, you could pick anybody out of a crowd of 100 or 10, and you could probably find one or more person that has one of those issues that could be benefiting from something like that. That again, like whether you're doing physical therapy or taking medication and getting nowhere, you're not getting any actual, results or any kind of recovery.
Yeah, so that's why you can't just walk in off the street and get in the hyperbaric chamber. You have to set up a consult with Dr. Fernand in Ridgeway first. And it's a free consult. You make an appointment, go in. She's going to check you over and make sure that you are physically capable of being in pressure. There's not much that would preclude you from being in there if you have a history of like a burst lung, that kind of thing, or maybe some ear issues. I don't think pregnant people can go in there either. Just don't. You can go in the float tank. The float tank is awesome for pregnant people.
I bet.
But yeah, no, ladies, stay out of. Yeah, you're not allowed in there. But she'll check you over and make sure that you are all good to go in there, and she will see what your issue is, what your goals are, and she will recommend how often to come. For some things, it's like, man, get there as many days as possible, because the more often you do it, the faster it's going to go, or the better it's going to work. But other things are like once a week. So it all depends, and she knows it all. So,
well, and that's again my favorite part of the whole process. I mean, like again, I can do my own research. I'm motivated to do my own research with a lot of things, but most people aren't. So the fact that like you can come in, you can ask some questions. I mean, if this is something that you're thinking that might work for you, like at least there's a medical professional on the other side of the door that's going to help you and make sure that not only are you safe to do this, but also that it's going to be worth it and benefit you, and you have some guidance. Because again, enough people just like I said don't I think take the time to do the research themselves, and having somebody like again a doctor. Most people trust the doctor. Walking into a place like that, they might not think that like I said, that's even an option. They might I don't know anything about it, and So I think people knowing that there's a medical professional behind it, that you have a medical background, that you're fully capable and aware of the safety and the risk, and whether it's right for you or not. I think goes a long way, because I think that's the most thing is like people just don't know if it would benefit them or,
Yeah, and our doctor, she uses all the stuff too. She does it all herself as well, because she.
And that's important, because again, you do the same thing too. I mean, like you've probably been through every one of those, and you know what it does and how it works and what the benefit is. And again, you'd be the first to admit that, like, well, you know what, float tank isn't for me. Because again,
sauna might help better.
Not
I have
for
actually
everybody.
told people that one might be
better. Oh, the sauna in there is beautiful. I cannot wait to come in. I'm trying to get a bunch of, because it'd be fun as a group. You know what I mean? Like I just think it would be fun to, like I said, come down and relax maybe after a day of tattooing or a day of podcasting and stuff. Like I think that would be a great thing to do for my guests, to bring them down.
We've had people come for like party, I guess. Come in for like a whole day of
treatment.
Yeah. So there was this one. There were 4 ladies that came in, and 2 of them did the sauna together, and 2 of them floated. We have 2 pods, and you float separately. Technically, you can fit 2 people in one of those pods, but I just no, don't touch me. Like, I don't want anybody else there. Yeah, I don't know why you would want someone else in there. But technically, you could. You get
a separator.
Yeah. And then they came out and they hung out in the seating area on the cozy couches and waited while we cleaned everything, switched everything over, and then they swapped. Yeah, we do. It's
like a whole spa.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it's a med spa, and I think that's why people that do know that we're there, they might not think it's for them, because it's like, oh, it's just a spa. It's just a go get a feel good for a day kind of thing. But it's like it actually has medical benefit.
Well, and that's, like I said, the misconception. I think, like, even if you do know what's in there, you don't even know what's in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I mean, you think that you might have an idea, like, because even if you thought it was a a spa, a sauna, like it's just so much more than that, like I think that, again, anything we can do to just, point people in the right direction and make them aware that, like, I don't care who you are, whether you're a 5-star athlete or just working the cash register at McDonald's, it's like realistically everybody, mentally, physically, old, young, I mean, realistically anybody could benefit from it. And, maybe this isn't your thing, but maybe that is, maybe the float tank isn't it, but maybe the sauna is.
Yeah.
Like there's there's a ton of stuff, like I said, that just around here we're very lucky to have, I mean, most places like this don't have it. Now I know that I think there was a place that we'd heard about, doing the IV drips and stuff like that. But again, to find a place that you can essentially have it all, to where you can come in there and maybe on Wednesdays, I sit and get a little bit of an IV thing. Then I go sit in the sauna, like, because again, that's something that I learned real quick is that, boy, you're not just going to get in the sauna if you're dehydrated, because the point of the sauna is the sweat, and you're not going to sweat if your body's dehydrated. Right. So you have to be very conscious about being hydrated before you get into the sauna, because then you're going to end up depleting yourself, to the point where you get out there and you're not hydrated, then you're going to sweat what you do have out.
Yeah. Oh, and if you're coming in for an IV because you're dehydrated, I get that you're dehydrated for a reason, but please, for the love of God, drink water before you come, because I won't be able to find your vein.
Ooh.
So if you can, try to get something down. I mean, I'm not going to say no because you didn't drink water that day, but like, I might give you the side eye a little bit.
Well, and I like that you said it too, because again, the IV hydration isn't essentially a cure-all. You can't be like, well, I don't have to drink any water today because I'm going to get my IV bag.
Yeah, that's not all the water you need.
You know what I mean? So like, it's
a good boost. It's a really good boost.
It's a tool
when you're dehydrated, but then you need to go drink more water.
Right.
Later.
So that's interesting. So drinking water obviously will increase the size of your veins. That'll make them easier to find.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that's one thing that scares me. I'm like, oh yeah, let me go in there for my liquid IV hydration while I pass out watching her put a needle in my arm. Like I'll fucking
you don't have to be away for it. Sound consent before we're good.
These tattoos are a big misconception. Getting an IV, getting a shot is not my thing. I could watch somebody else give blood and I'm passing out.
That is too funny.
I don't know. I blame the Lyme disease. I mean, I didn't have a weak stomach before that. It's weird. Like before that, I could look at the grossest stuff ever. Now I can't even I even used to do physical piercings. I used to do piercings in my old shop, and now I can't even watch somebody get a piercing.
That is
I'm like, I want to literally. I get like ghost white. Yeah. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Like it's so weird, and that's where my lactose intolerance started as well. Whenever I got that Lyme disease. Which then I was like misdiagnosed for a literal decade. Every time that I was going into the doctor, anytime that I went to the doctor about being sick and nauseous every morning, they never thought to look at anything else. As soon as they seen Lyme disease, they said, oh, well, it's chronic Lyme disease. Here, I was doing it to myself every morning, drinking milk, but I had never been lactose intolerant before that. So with it starting with the Lyme disease, I just had always chalked it up to being the Lyme disease is what was making me feel this way.
Yeah.
Here I just had to change my diet.
Technically not wrong. The Lyme disease did make you feel that way.
It's like it took one doctor to say, well, maybe that was the cause of something else. Maybe that caused your weakness in your stomach or whatever. But it's weird. So it was literally self-inflicted for a decade. I mean, literally, like, I don't know why I feel like shit. Like chocolate milk, egg and cheese sandwich. No idea why I'm sick. It's amazing having the right information and having the right people.
Yeah.
Change your whole life. So, let's see. I think we probably touched on a little bit of the benefits of the sauna and stuff. I like that you kind of mentioned this too, like, because I put together some stuff like, do people socialize in there? And I think that people, again, it doesn't have to be an individual thing. Like if you feel better with somebody else, you can float probably, maybe not in the same pod, but, you go in there and you each go to your own pod. You can do the sauna together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have people that come in and do like a coupled sauna kind of thing. Yeah. It's pretty nice. And we won't try to push you to do more than we think you need. Because, like, I'm cheap as hell. So I'm not going to tell other people to spend money on on shit that they don't need.
Right.
Because so if I don't think that you need you can absolutely have all the vitamins in that IV bag that you want. You can have everything you want if you want it. I'm gonna tell you, if you probably don't need it,
Right.
Save you like $25 or something. But
well, and that's important to know because it's the same thing. Like as a tattoo artist or anybody that does anything, like I don't have to oversell you. Like I feel like the product will get you to either come back or will give you enough. So at the end of the day, like I'm going to be the most honest and transparent with you about it, and I'm going to give you the best price on it because I know at the end of the day, like I'm doing something for you, not for me, and I want you to come back and feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I always said like I want somebody to like be able to afford going to get a drink and something to eat after they go get a tattoo from me, because I've been in that situation where I've gone to tattoo and it's like, fuck, I can't even afford to freaking go to the drive-through. So I always want people to be able to walk out of there knowing that they got something good and probably, were undercharged, and, at least they can trust the person that's, offering the services. But I think this is honestly the future of therapy and medicine. I mean, how this kind of works the same way with normal therapy. I mean, like, you don't know until you try it. You got to take that first step. Maybe the first time it's not going to cure you entirely. Like you might have to ease into it, take a couple of different shots at it, see what works best for you.
Yeah.
But to me, I feel like realistically, like I said, this is something that, is probably probably the best thing you can do for yourself, even for somebody else. You have gift certificates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Somebody that's struggling with something, whether it's physically, mentally, like I truly believe, like I said, this is like, our sanctuary in town now. Like the whole place, is just like a meditative state almost. Just being in the lobby is just feels really good. It feels like you're in the right place and doing the right thing for yourself.
Yeah, and if you don't think that the person you're getting the gift for will actually take time to schedule something for themselves, you can schedule it.
Oh, really?
We had someone do that. They're like, they're never gonna. I could get them a gift certificate, and they're never gonna call and do it for themselves. So I'm gonna, they had already asked the person like what days work best for you. I don't think they told them what it was for, and they had us put them on the schedule and pay for it, and all right, and it worked out really well.
Makes it a little bit easier for people.
Force them to.
Yeah, like, hey, Wednesday, get down there. I don't know how long you guys have been offering this. How long have they been there
About
with
a
all
year
this here?
with
Okay,
the
so it's still
hyperbaric
fairly new.
And well, the float place itself has been around for a couple of years. It was owned by someone else before us. Before Dr. Fernand owned it, and then she had it for a year before I got there. I've been there for a little. Before it was just floats and maybe the sauna.
Okay.
But then she came in, and then she wanted to do all the extra stuff too. And we have B12 shots too, like little injections. People that need the B12 injection.
Is that separate from like an IV thing? Okay, so that's just a one shot?
With like a diabetic needle. It's like the tiniest little itty bitty thing. You most likely don't even feel it. So people that need that.
Wow.
Yeah, you can come in and get that. We have laser hair removal too. Forgot about that one.
Right there.
Yeah, we have a laser thing.
What?
Wow,
yeah. And that's permanent, right? Like when you laser.
Should be, but I guess it's laser hair reduction. We can't guarantee permanent results, and like you might need to come back next year for like
that's the disclaimer, right?
But you can get zapped.
Wow, laser reduction.
Reduction, yes. I think our sign says removal, but yeah, it's
permanent removal.
Well, right, it says removal. It doesn't say it's permanent.
Yeah, I guess
interesting.
If it's like a hormonal hair growth, it won't fully get rid of that because your hormones are driving it. But,
right.
And it has to be melanated hair, so it's got to be the dark hair. Like if you have blonde hair, it's not going to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want one strip removed from the center of my head.
Yeah.
Just
we'll do that. It'll take 4 to 6 sessions.
Oh man. Oh. I've never had a tattoo lasered off or anything like that. I've never been under it's probably a similar process.
Okay, so I mean I haven't had one lasered off, but to learn how to use the laser that we have,
gross.
I had toe hair. People have toe hair. It's a normal thing. I had some hair on my big toe. So that was my practice, was my toe.
Ah, you did it on yourself?
I did, yeah. And it was it was kind of, I think I prefer it that way because I would like freak out not knowing when the zap is coming. Like I like to know when the pain is coming. Well, I've got like this tattoo on my foot.
It's burning it off. Yeah, it's definitely gonna not feel good.
The one time I slipped with the laser, and since it goes after the dark, I hit the little the wingtip. Oh my god, it blistered. It burned all day. It hurt so bad. And then someone's like, "Oh yeah, it's not going to damage the tattoo. It'll be fine." You can see it. You can see a little square right on the tip of the wing where it's like lighter. Oh, it hurts so bad. So like, if you want your legs lasered to get your hair off, don't come in if you've got like vines all up and down. Because I'm just gonna say no. I'm not gonna try to puzzle that out.
I never thought about this. Having laser hair removal over top of a tattoo probably shouldn't do it.
If it's dark, I don't know what it would do on a lighter color, but if it's dark, it is going to blister, and you're going to feel like it's burning from the inside.
From what I know about laser tattoo removal is obviously if we're looking at a tattoo for what it is, it's just pigment that's being put into your skin. Mm-hmm. Darker pigments or darker colors have more pigment. Yellows, blues have less pigment to make those colors. It's a thinner color. Obviously, black has an overwhelming amount of pigment in it to make it so dark.
Yeah.
So it's easier to grab and pull it out, essentially, or pull it out, burn it out, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So yeah, yellows and things like that are very, very difficult to laser out with laser tattoo removal. So they actually were telling people for the longest time, which I don't know if they're still doing this or not. This was probably a decade ago, but they were like, say I had a full yellow tattoo that I needed removed, and we're like, well, you know what, our laser is going to have a really hard time pulling all that out because it's such a thin pigment.
Yeah.
We're actually going to tattoo a black mass over top of it. They would actually just black this out, do a solid black square, and then I'm like, okay, so I want to get this. I want to get rid of this heart here, so you're going to do a big solid black square over top of it and then burn it off. Like, yeah, that sounds wonderful. Sign me up.
Oh, that's awful.
But
that's awful.
Theoretically is the most efficient way to remove that because you would just end up burning your skin, and not pulling any of that pigment out because it can't pull the thinner pigments, So get a tattoo covered up if like I don't recommend that laser tattoo removal at all. Like I haven't met a tattoo yet that I haven't been able to cover up. Now, like, lightning sessions, maybe, but like, again, is there scarring or anything like that with laser hair removal? Maybe
there isn't if it's done, not accidentally hitting your tattoo that you shouldn't
Well,
be
it's
hitting.
probably not as invasive as
scarring.
removing ink,
Yeah, no, you shouldn't be doing
where's
that.
the hair follicle line up to ink? Ink's probably deeper than your hair follicle.
I don't know. They might be.
That's weird, though. I would have never really put those two things together because it is probably the same technology, the same laser. Like it really is. What? No, I don't know what I missed.
Don't let her remove my hair.
Oh, wow! If it's near a tattoo, self-inflicted though. That's the thing.
Okay.
Doing it on somebody else.
Hairy foot. I'm not. We're good.
Doing it on somebody else, though, you wouldn't have slipped. You know what I mean? Like, on you, you're like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
What's that tattoo say?
Oh man.
Just shed my little light on there.
Yeah, that would hurt.
Yeah, it did.
Does it hurt on the hair more than it does on the tattoo?
No, it is like a little pinch or like a rubber band snap. It's a little warm.
And it's
sometimes, and it just like
okay. So see, again, I've never really watched anybody get any hair removed, but I watched laser tattoo removal, and it's disgusting. You see like those first layers of skin being burnt off.
Oh yeah, no,
like
we don't.
this,
that's not that.
Smell.
That's not that.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like the hair, obviously, is far, far less invasive.
Yeah. So what it does, you have to shave right like the day you get
okay. That makes
hair
sense.
removal because the laser light will grab onto that dark hair and it'll act like a lightning rod to bring it down and zap the root and the follicle and everything, and that's how it kills it. So if you have anything on top, it's just going to burn off what's on top and not actually kill what's underneath. So
interesting.
Yeah, but it doesn't actually hurt, and you feel fine. We start out kind of low on the very first one just to see how your skin reacts to it, and then we might crank it up later if you're okay with it. But if it hurts,
without having a real understanding of the technology, but like, so it somehow travels or focuses into that dark pigment, which is obviously with the tattoo is typically a larger space. So at least with the hair, right, it's going to such a finite point in burning off that individual hair as opposed to a space of black ink or even a thick black line on a tattoo. So yeah, it probably hurts way, way, way less.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt. We don't blister anybody. Like you shouldn't be blistered. Your skin shouldn't even be red for very long. If it is, there's an issue that we need to address next time. So.
Well, it's good to know. I mean, like in case you're getting
come in, it'll be fine.
In case you're getting laser removal somewhere else and you're walking out of there red or blistered, that's not normal.
Right, unless you have like cream that you use that makes you photosensitive, and you didn't stop using that a few days ahead of time.
Right.
Yeah, your skin's gonna get.
Even certain medications, would that have any effect on it? Like I know that I mean, I have had clients that are more sensitive to like alcohol, like on their skin, they get really, really red if and whether that's just sensitive skin or medication that they're on or what. But yeah, I would imagine that there's probably some people that maybe their skin couldn't handle the laser removal, or is it okay? Even like you figure like elderly.
Yeah, I actually have one lady she's not elderly, but she's older.
Doesn't
I think she's in her 70s. I don't know, but she was having some issues with it growing in like random places on her face.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure you've seen that. It happens.
Yeah, and she was like mortified. So she's coming in and getting that topped off and
on her face.
Yeah.
See, if she can do it.
Right.
Man, that's wild. That's again like I'm gonna start painting you some signs or something. I don't know, because I love, like I said, I just absolutely love everything that's going on in there, and I just love the whole space. The interior is absolutely beautiful. I encourage anybody to walk in there and check it out. We talked a little bit about yourself being cheap. So is this something I myself am I would say affordable. I try to be affordable, conscious with my money. Is this something that again is it expensive? Is it something that do you offer new customers, new clients, anything as far as a package or a trial or anything like that?
$5 off your first float. I gotta make sure we have $20 off the first IV still. I think that's still a thing. What else do we got? We have packages where you can, if you're going to be coming to sauna, regularly, you get package of 5 saunas, you get packages of floats, you can combo deal sort of thing. Oh, we do have like the YMCA and running clubs and like health groups like that. They just tell us you're doing that and you're going to get 10% off of anything.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you're partnering with those, obviously, if you have a YMCA membership or anything like that.
Yeah, Dr. Fernand, she's like if people are going to be doing things for their health,
right?
Like they should also be able to benefit from further taking care of themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and it's just like I talk about this is like this is my form of therapy. Essentially, you know what I mean? Like I could sit down and talk to a therapist, but I would rather sit down and talk to people from the area, people that are interesting. And it's like, boy, I sit down with people every day, learn something about myself or somebody else. It's like this is my tool. So again, like I would like to be able to everybody that sits down here say, hey, you know what, you want to further the experience? You know what I mean? Come down here, like all kinds of different stuff that you guys offer down there. And like I said, I know specifically my friend Eric, he definitely is interested in coming up and experiencing the float tank. And same thing, like I told him, like 30 minutes, give it a try, and he's a couple hours away. So, I mean, it might be perfect. Maybe he comes up once a month, to do a show. He stops there and he floats. I think it would be a great tool for really anybody. He's a musician and a very creative person. And I'm telling you what, like if he's able, like I said, to achieve a meditative state on his own, the float tank, I mean, boy, that would just be, like I said, flipping a switch. Because again, you don't have to have any kind of predisposition knowledge of meditation. You don't have to even know where your center is.
Yeah, we it'll throw find him in there for an hour to begin with, probably if he's.
Oh, it'd be great.
If he's good at that already, yeah.
And I want her to try it as well. It's like I said, it's something I know a lot of people, if they do know about it, probably are anxious about it or maybe don't understand it enough. And I think this is a great way for people to get more information.
Or they think that it's Stranger Things, and it's not Stranger. It's not that kind of sensory deprivation.
I'm glad she never seen that because I'm telling you, like.
Yeah. No.
Oh yeah. Do you have a personal favorite treatment?
Honestly, I really love the sauna. I never thought I'd say that because I hate being hot. No. It is nice that the infrared sauna goes to 150 instead of the 185 of like a traditional sauna. So that is really nice. And you don't even have to go to the full 150. As long as you're 120 and up, you're good.
See.
I don't know why I love that so much. It's just so nice. And it's not steamy. Like I think like I don't like humidity and my hair, hair, it's enormous. So yeah, it's just not going to happen if it's a steam one. But the infrared
That's interesting.
one,
It's dry heat, right?
Absolutely love it. Yep, it's fantastic. And sometimes I'll do a sauna lunch, like for my lunch break. I'll do a sauna instead, and then just eat while I'm working later. And it's gotten to the point where when I go to clean the sauna after someone is done, and you can smell like the warm cedar wood. It's almost like a Pavlovian kind of response.
Oh yeah.
Because I just want to sit in it and stay there.
I like that you said
the smell of it.
that you don't typically like you don't like to sweat,
Mm-hmm.
So that was like probably the last thing you expected yourself to enjoy, because the same thing, like, I mean, I absolutely hate sweating, but your reference to sweating is, I'm sweating under my clothes and all this stuff.
Yeah, it's like a different.
So, and again, humidity outside, totally different, but boy, I would have never imagined, like I said, how different I would feel coming out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and again, my sauna is just fucking Amazon, it was like $140, portable single unit, it's a steam, and I think it maxes out at like 100 or 110. So even that, which it's in a smaller space, so maybe, but I know, like I said, 20 minutes, 30 minutes into that, like I am pouring sweat. And then when I come out of there, I just feel like my skin has never felt better in my life. Like I literally come out of there and I just feel like, just reborn, like regenerated completely, and then I just do a real quick shower, rinse, and kind of get everything off me. And like, I feel so much more prepared for the day mentally than I do if I don't do it. And I find myself whenever I like haven't got in there in a week, I'm like, oh, really need to get down there. And it's like, boy, it's hard to just, I need to be able to disconnect from my phone for 20 minutes. I need people to leave me alone for 20 minutes. It's like, it's hard to find the time. But boy, when you do, you're like, man, I gotta find the time to do this, because again, this is going to help me deal with all the normal shit that I got to deal with.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't feel that abrasiveness, like I said, like you essentially just, I don't know, you're like almost walking around with protection, like I said, you have a different perspective on things, and you doing it is going to encourage you to tell somebody else to try it, and they'll tell somebody else to try it, and then eventually we're all walking around in a better state of mind. And boy, what a world that would be.
Yeah.
Anything exciting you want to share? Anything? I know you guys sometimes do events, do little pop-ups. Sometimes you have anything going on. Summer's coming.
Not right now, but I gotta start thinking of something.
Well,
seems like the time to do something.
We want to work together on something. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. But yeah. So I don't know what time it is. Are we good on time?
Yeah, talk to you.
What time is it?
12.
12:15. Isn't that your alarm didn't go off?
No. I still got some time.
Okay.
Yeah. I did mention no synthetics in the hyperbaric chamber.
What's a synthetic?
Synthetic materials.
What would that be like?
Like polyester or.
Oh, so you do wear your clothes in there?
Yeah, you wear scrubs when you come in. Yeah, if you had them down a few days ago and they're like they're cured, you're good. But otherwise.
And obviously, no float tank with a fresh tattoo.
Sorry, no float tank with a fresh tattoo, because that's going to hurt.
You probably can't do.
If you have like an open wound, don't go in the float tank either.
Yeah, anything like that.
But if you have like a little cut, we'll put some Vaseline over top of it so it doesn't sting. Don't shave your legs or anything the day that you're going to go in the float tank either. If you get any
24 hours before.
It's going to hurt. Don't eat a big meal or drink caffeine before you do it either, just because that's going to ruin it for you.
Well, and you don't want to go to the bathroom either. Again, because like to relaxation state, you want to be essentially able to stay in there the whole time.
Yeah, but the hyperbaric chamber, you come in, we are going to make sure that anybody that comes in, they get really annoyed with me because we have to ask them the same questions every freaking time.
Oh, really?
And they hate it, and they're so like Dr. Fernand already screaming for this. I'm like, listen, I don't want you to get hurt or die. So,
or die.
I don't want to freak everybody out, but we are very cautious. We make you move. We make sure that you have showered, so you don't have any lotions, creams, oils, perfumes, nothing like that on. we have showers there for the float tanks, and I have made people get in the shower before they get into the hyperbaric chamber. Because
okay, right. You always have facilities there to shower, obviously.
So we don't want anything on you. We don't want your outside clothes in there because we don't know if they are full cotton. We need everything to be like 100% cotton because that's not sparky. We don't want anything that's going to spark.
That's fucking scary. I don't know why you keep saying that. I feel like something's going to explode.
It is. When people when people mess around with this stuff, like bad things happen.
Well, it's pressurization.
And the high oxygen content. Oxygen is a good for fire.
Right.
And yeah.
So it's combustible, essentially, obviously.
Yeah. And if you have something on that's like oily and a spark happens, that oil is going to be the fuel that
you're in a vessel.
Burns you, and then everything's going to blow up, and you're going to die, and I'm going to die, and nobody wants to die. So, I don't care if you're annoyed with our stupid questions every day. They're very important, and you have to follow the rules, so nobody's going to die. Are you really fired up about this? Because people get so... Yeah.
Well, it's a shame. It's a shame when people know that they're coming in there for their health. It's like, I would be like, you know what, thank you for caring enough to keep us both alive.
Yeah.
You know, because if I'm in here to help some ailment and we blow ourselves up, then what the hell good was all this anyway?
Right. It's kind of counterproductive. So,
you know, and how long does it take realistically?
To what? Like
run through the questions.
Like a minute. Make sure that you're not like recently having a cold where your ears are going to get uncomfortable and, you know, just like, yeah, just calm down. Let me do my job.
I always say it all. I'm like, listen. Help me help you help me help you. You know what I mean? Like, we can work together.
Yes,
now both of our days are easier.
Yeah.
So I think that's the moral of the story, realistically, in any situation. Like, you know, take a step back. Let them help you.
The rules are there for a reason.
Yeah, and it's all about your health anyway. So again, it's like, you know, I could see if I was in, you know, the car garage and I'm trying to just get my tire changed and go to work, like the last place I want to go. But I'm there trying to benefit myself, free my mind, fix my body.
Yeah.
Listen to the questions.
And she let me do an online course. No, like it was for the hyperbaric training, and it's like for nurses that work at, or anybody that works at like a hospital, and they have the really intense ones with the like liquid oxygen tanks in the walls, and it's like pressurized oxygen, and it's intense.
Wow.
So that class that I took was for that intense one, and ours is not quite as intense. I'm treating it that way.
Right.
Because I don't want anybody.
Well, you care enough too.
The one part of the course was like an hour and a half lecture on every single event that has ever happened with hyperbaric oxygen that has caused injury,
like worst case scenario.
Every single one that has happened since this has been created.
Can I get a copy of that?
Last century. So like, I don't know.
That's
if it's like
scary.
100, maybe, but a lot of them were preventable because people didn't follow the rules. Follow the rules.
That's the tragedy of the most of it, right? If you'd have just taken the steps properly, you'd probably still be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and
so
it's only taking another minute out of your day. Chill out.
Right. You're going to be in there for like 75 minutes. What is another 60 seconds?
Something else that you brought to my attention that I was surprised by, you said that you can sleep in that. Yeah. So you're in that for an hour and 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. You can roll over and go to sleep, and you're unaffected. You feel normal in there. Like, I mean, I feel like I would be a little bit anxious at first, but you know,
we have a little phone, and we have an approved walkie-talkie. Yes. Someone said I sound like a flight attendant because it's like an intercom thing. And we've got an approved walkie-talkie because you can't have electronics or anything in there because the pressure, sometimes electronics can't handle it and it'll explode.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you could take anything at all in there.
I'm not letting people take anything at all. But we have rigged it up where some people put their phone in the little holder, and then I take the intercom phone and I set it there so that they can hear it and they watch shows or movies. And they enjoy it a little bit better, and it's weird only listening to a movie and not seeing everything context-wise, but just hearing a movie.
Yeah.
Like, you don't realize how much you pick up context just visually and just hear. It was weird. The first time was really weird, but yeah.
You might not be able to enjoy your Gossip Girl in the hyperbaric chamber, but maybe listen to a podcast.
We'll see what we can do. We can help you out. But
audiobook.
You're not taking crap in there. It's not allowed in there.
The screen on the glass.
Yeah.
The tube.
Yeah.
My first time wants it to be my last time.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
Well, this one interests me more, so it's hard for me to.
Yeah.
Well, especially for someone that experienced, like I said, nerve damage, a skin graft, and again, that's like a botched surgery. You're walking around with that burden forever. Like, who's going to fix a skin graft? Who like that is fixed, and that's the scary part is to know that now there's something that could regenerate skin cells to maybe reverse scarring, reverse scar tissue,
And that specifically is one of the things that's covered by insurance too. So we're now accepting insurance for people who fit into the certain criteria that insurance covers, like the botched skin grafts and radiation damage from like radiation therapy.
Yeah, we didn't even get into that. That's something again that I think that a lot of people aren't aware of. Like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have nerve damage and are dealing with that kind of pain that could benefit from that. But like radiation damage and scarring, to be able to reverse that is something I didn't think was even possible. Because as a tattoo artist looking at skin, I've tattooed through stretch marks and scar tissue and stuff of all kind, and I've even looked now that there's some really impressive tattoos being done on skin grafts to obviously hide the scarring and to make it into a something that people appreciate looking at as opposed to something you hide.
Yeah.
But to know now that maybe there might be alternative methods to maybe reduce scarring, and then have the option of getting tattooed later on.
Yeah, the hyperbaric is probably my favorite thing that we have, just like for coolness, just because it does so much. I don't know, I do really love everything we have. Personally, I really like doing the sauna, but
you can't blow up.
You don't blow up in the sauna. Watch, I go sauna like next week, it blows up on me. But yeah, I like the sauna for a regular thing. The H-Pot is like the coolest thing that we have. The IVs are just really nice and convenient for people that need them. I've given myself IVs before, which is, I guess, a little messy because you don't. Because usually I have two hands to stop the blood.
She has a medical background.
Don't
give yourself an IV.
I was really sick, or like post really sick, and I had to go to work, and I'm like, can I do it? I got a really good vein, and I'm left-handed, so I was able to bam, and there was some blood because I wasn't able to occlude it.
That'd be me. I'd be passed out right there.
Just gushing out. No, it worked. It was fine. I survived. I felt a lot better. The float really is awesome. It really is awesome.
All around, even if you're not depriving yourself.
Yeah.
And that's, like I said, I think that's something that, I like her being out of here too, because it does sound scary, especially like anybody that's talking to me. I'm an extremist. I'm like, oh no, you need to be pitch black. You don't want to even know you have a body. And they're like, ah.
It took me a while to do full on black, and that was, I think I only did it once actually. The very first time I floated, I tried it and I was like, whoa, it was like disorienting.
Well, that's the whole point, right?
On. So I had my deep ocean rumble of the sea or something like that. It sounds like you're under the waves. And I turned the dark blue on. I was like, this is good. But one time I was so mentally not okay for weeks. And I felt like I was just going to pass out because my brain was not in a good space. And I went in early to work and I got in there for half an hour and I actually turned everything off and I fell asleep, which that doesn't happen to me in there ever. And I could have stayed in there for much longer. I was bummed when it told me to get out. And I did. I felt so much better. It was like everything just kind of rinsed out and wrung out my brain.
It's like a wash.
Felt so much better.
Yeah, it's weird how you feel physically lighter sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I said, you're enthralled into this, and it's like you almost infectiously feel happier.
That's the glow.
You can't even explain it. It's like, wow, this is what I'm supposed to feel like. Like I feel like myself. And I'm not overburdened by all of this stuff. Because like I said, between social norms and all of this bullshit and politics and all this rat race stuff, it's like you're pushed into this little box, and you got to be this person, and you got to do this and this. Being in that float tank, like I said, you kind of can just unwind and just kind of release everything. It's fantastic. So if anybody is interested, we're speaking with Mary here from the Dream Float. I encourage anybody to go down there. You're gonna walk through and you're gonna see her, right? You're
Usually,
essentially
Tuesdays are Amber. Um,
Is it just you two that are in there essentially most
and
days?
then we have April, she's kind of like our per diem. If people want a Friday night or Saturday morning, we put them on the schedule, and she will come in. She's not there unless there's someone there to be there for.
And are most of these services by appointment only?
You can do
like sauna through walk-in.
Yeah, it does take 30 minutes for the sauna to heat up. So it's always good to call in case you want something and it's booked or it takes a little prep time. But yeah, usually, like I've had people call in and be like, "Can I come in for an IV today?" I'm like, "Yep, 20 minutes so I can finish up my one person and then come on down." And we can now hook up like 4 people at once.
For the IV.
We have the
Oh wow!
Yeah, we've got enough stands to have 4 bags at once.
So what are your hours?
Party on Friday night. Come in on Saturday morning. Yeah.
I'm telling you, especially because I mean, like I talk about all kinds of different stuff I want to do around here, and it's like, listen, I want to bring some more live entertainment to the area and stuff. So I got some things in the works, and it's like, so like say, Monday night's going to be our night to like do a show or performance. Like Tuesday morning, the group of us, go rehydrate, go recover.
Yeah.
Like almost, not quite a prescription, but essentially, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's what you should do after, maybe a night out. Because, I mean, we all want to have a good time and have fun, but alcohol, you're poisoning your body. You're literally putting poison into your body. And you're wrecking yourself. So, I mean, at least if you're going to do that to have a good time, at least take the next step and recover properly.
And especially coming on Tuesday morning, because that's Amber, and she's really great at IVs. She's going to kill me.
Oh, man. So, what would be your hours down there? Where can people find you and when?
Hours are kind of weird. Tuesdays always 9 to 5. Thursdays always 11 to 7. It's odd because, like, we're not super busy right now, so I don't need to be there 100% of the time. And between my husband's job and like kids and childcare
and life,
childcare is not like an easy thing for us to get like regular people would because we have
right.
So I build my schedule around him. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are always your best bet. Every other Monday, every 2 Wednesdays. But
awesome.
Yeah, so we have evening times. Wednesdays that I'm there, it's going to be 11 to 8 if you need a late time after work. Mondays are 11 to 7, like, because people aren't usually coming in the afternoon.
Right.
Because they're working and stuff. So people that work, we can make it happen. You can find us on Facebook. You can find our page. I post every week what our hours are going to be. If it's going to be weird.
Okay. So we're kind of in the same boat where, like, like if somebody asks what our hours are, I'm like, I really don't know because even like on days that our shop's closed, I'm probably in there doing something, and really what time we open and what time we close depends on what time the client's appointment is that day because essentially we're at the bay of the client and we work outside of those business hours all the time, you know, so best thing you can do is call, walk in. If you see the sign says open, go in. And if you have any questions, or if you're unsure, if we didn't answer anything here, you guys are like the easiest people I've ever talked to, honestly. Like I said, walking in there into a new business and having, no idea what to expect. Like you gave me more information that I could have ever asked for just in that initial meeting there. So
sometimes that can be a problem for me.
Well, I like information. Some people need to know less, I guess. But
yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd, and I will tell you everything.
Well, it comes with being
even
passionate
if you don't
about it. So. All right. Well, I think unless there's anything else that I didn't cover, you got any questions? Yeah. That's it. All right, Mary from the Float Tank, Dream Float. Thank you so much, and I couldn't be happier. And we're gonna go down there, and we're gonna see firsthand. I'm gonna try to bring everybody I know, and like I said, every guest that I have on here from here on out will have been able to find this information through the episode. So now you got no excuse.
Yeah.
Get yourself right. Get your mind right. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. Come on up here. I'm worried about it getting warm.
Yeah, I know. We need a picture.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to take pictures of every guest. I've only gotten one picture so far. So, yeah, just over here somewhere.
Okay.
Why not? Maybe under this light. We can even do it here. This light too good. Are you struggling with stress, anxiety, chronic pain, or just burned out? Dream Float in St. Mary's might be exactly what your body's been asking for. They've got float tanks to ease your mind, hyperbaric oxygen therapy to speed up healing, and IV hydration for energy. Infrared saunas will help with pain and detoxing. Trust me, folks, it's not just luxury, it's recovery. Check out beautywithinmd.com or find them on Facebook, Dream Float in St. Mary's. This is the future of healing, people, and if you've heard it here, let them know that we sent you. Dream Float in St. Mary's.
This is not a paid advertisement.